The Olympic torch failed to light up the Indian TV ad spend in 2008 when the mega event was hosted in Beijing. Doordarshan, the only broadcaster at the time, managed to garner just about 5 to 7 crores during the tournament. But cut to 2012, and the scenario has undergone a sea change. Given the fact that it is being telecast by a private broadcaster, it's playing out during prime time, Indian viewers are showing more interest in non-cricketing sports, and India sending out its largest contingent of athletes. Yet, ESS has only managed to sign up 3 sponsors so far. What's gone wrong, and why are brands shying away from what looks like a pretty good advertising proposition? Tara Kapoor finds out.
With the much-anticipated Summer Olympics here, India's patriotic optimism is at an all-time high. We're sending our biggest contingent to the mother of all sporting events, with 81 of the country's finest athletes participating in the Games in London. Our hockey team demolished France by 8-1 in the qualifiers final in true Chuck Day style, and with an expected goal rush from some of our boxers, wrestlers and shooters, the sentiment for India's performance at the Olympics this year seems to be extremely positive. But are advertisers as optimistic, and are brands putting big bucks behind a sporting extravaganza that's not cricket?
In terms of what is sort of holding it back, from an advertising perspective, I think it's still a premium property. The pricing is still higher than probably what the larger markets can bear.
The biggest transformation with the Olympics this time around is that the sporting spectacle will be telecast by the private broadcaster ESS and not solely Doordarshan, which means an enhanced viewing experience with more organized feeds and channels.
Star Sports was going to be an international flavored channel. There's ESPN that is going to have an Indian flavor wherever Indian participation is what we are going to capture. And ESPN HD, which is going to be a mix of both. So currently, if you look at it, the plans that we have is from 1:30 onwards, starting the 28th, everything is going to morph into an Olympics channel.
But for advertisers, this enhanced telecast of the Olympics comes at a premium price. A price not many brands are willing to pay. Initially, ESS was looking to sign up 8 sponsors for the event and had set a revenue target of approximately 55 crores. But the sport broadcaster has only managed to rope in 3 sponsors so far: Tata Docomo, Airtel Digital and Hero Motorcorp, and is currently sitting with just about 40% of its inventory sold.
We were only looking at partners across the entire Olympics. Currently, we've got 3 sponsors on board. What we are looking across is all across the tournament, where all the 15 days of the tournament's on, they're going to get spots every hour. So that's the way that the entire package has been designed. There are a few discussions that we are having in terms of spot buys, but that's about all.
Other brands who had shown interest in the property, like Amul, aren't willing to pay the premium rate of about 8 crores and have opted to sponsor the Indian contingent instead. ESS is now looking to sell the remaining inventory at approximately 15 to 20,000 rupees for a 10-second spot. The broadcaster is currently busy negotiating deals with many brands, including the likes of Vodafone, Coca-Cola, Samsung and McDonald's.
We were looking for such opportunities where we can be present in the sports or such type of event at affordable price. And when we look for, you get something. That's why we got a World Cup cricket team of Netherlands, and F1 team of Sauber, and now this Olympic association.
I think there are many ways of supporting the Olympics, and it's up to each individual advertiser to craft a mix which suits his or her needs. Our support to Olympics, like we said, is multi-pronged. There is the official sponsorship of the Indian Olympics team. We are supporting some of the 8 high potential sports persons through our Olympics Ratna program. I think all of these work in tandem along with other properties on ground, off ground, digital.
Sport brands like Nike, who are looking to leverage the event but at a much lower cost, will be going the unofficial route. and will be advertising with a London 2012 slogan instead of an official Olympics tagline. The other interesting finding being that several brands are opting to advertise on GD, whose spot rates are about 50 to 60,000 for 10 seconds. That's a reduction from the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, where GD sold 10-second spots at anywhere between 70 to 75,000 rupees.
These are very niche sports from an India standpoint. Any advertiser will look at, Olympics is just one portion of their overall media plan. So medium and very small clients, they may not have the kind of budgets to participate in this.
As of now, ESS has raked in about 25.5 crore rupees in revenues with 3 sponsorship deals. While the broadcaster is hopeful of clocking 55 crores as ad sale revenues from the event, media planners think this is highly unlikely. Media buyers estimate a total of 35 crores from the tournament for ESS, a shortcoming of almost 20 crores from their initial estimate. However, it's still a sizable sum of money for a non-cricketing property, considering Doordarshan only managed revenues of about 5 to 7 crores for the 2008 Beijing Olympics.
I think there is increasing interest in non-cricketing property. Those who are entering, into advertising with the Olympics are doing it despite the ratings rather than because of the ratings. So I don't think the expectation is that the numbers will show up. The rates are definitely at a premium, and we'll have to wait and watch in the next 10 days to what extent they are able to hold on to the rates and to what extent, some amount of discounting comes into play.
The interest for non-cricketing sports has definitely gone up in India. In fact, the 10-second spot rate for the Euro 2012 final went up by 40% and sold at around 2 to 2.5 lakhs for 10 seconds because of a spike in viewership numbers. However, even though brands are willing to sponsor these non-cricketing events, they're still skeptical about paying a premium price regardless of the global scale of events, especially if TRP numbers don't match up.
Let's keep it with the Olympics and take a look at how marketers across the world have been putting their brands and big bucks behind an event that guarantees visibility like no other. But if brands like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Samsung, Visa and Adidas, amongst countless others, are going all out to cash in on this spectacle, the Olympics lottery could be heading for a rain check with over-cluttered advertising, a complex brand hierarchy and multi-pronged sponsorship. So which brands have made their mark and which ones are losing the marketing marathon? Brand Equity delves deep to get you more.
It is a true test of mettle, grit and determination. The Olympics don't just inspire greatness, they're instrumental in creating it. As one of the biggest, most watched sporting events, the Olympics is every marketer's Christmas summer league. But in an advertising environment as cluttered and competitive as the games itself, the journey for these brands ahead is grueling. In a space where the category of advertisers is as diverse as their numbers, the lines of distinction for the consumer are blurring.
I'm Mark, your worldwide IT partner and your business technologist, and I'm working to make London 2012 the best.
In an extensive survey with nearly 2,500 respondents, Interbrand found out who struck gold and which brands are having more misses than hits this year. McDonald's is encountering stumbling blocks due to its negative health associations, leading to 32% of the consumers believing that the brand is in conflict with the Olympics and 39% convinced that it is irrelevant. However, initiatives such as Go Active and aggressive health-oriented strategies are helping the brand. As Coca-Cola and McDonald's go high with spontaneous recall figures of a solid 25%. The real surprise, however, comes with brands like Barclays, Nike, HSBC, Tesco, Canon and Guinness that are associated strongly with the Olympics without actually paying for it. leaving official sponsors like BMW and British Airways behind. Lower spends but continued engagement seem to be doing the trick as Cadbury, a supporter brand, is scoring higher than named sponsors like P&G and British Airways. Adidas scored an admirable 59% amongst consumers for the perfect brand fit with the Olympics. Brands like Samsung, Visa and BMW managed to establish a strong connect to the games, winning the approval of 40% of the consumers for being advanced, universal and competitive.
When people think of McDonald's, they think of the Big Mac heartland, not necessarily some of the areas that the menu has gone into recently which offer healthier eating. So McDonald's just has a challenge in terms of how it communicates its sponsorship. On one hand, it's a global brand that has an expectation of, yes, they should be there. On the other hand, people are sort of saying, is that really the right sort of food product? Some brands have been quite smart about how they have communicated their sponsorship. So British Airways, for example, went quite early and started communicating its sponsorship through TV advertising much earlier on in the year. So they've got a bit of clear space around the sponsorship themselves. Brands like Cadbury's are outperforming their sponsorship peers, if you like, by having communicated the sponsorship early as well.
Not all is well though. 70% of the consumers did not identify brands like Dow and Atos with any of the Olympic values, and GE did not find favor with 62% of the respondents. While Dow is suffering due to its publicized links to the Union Carbide Bhopal gas factory, Atos is facing fire for having provided software to a government that was rumored to be unfairly denying individuals the right to claim disability benefits. Visa, however, has suffered during the course of the games due to their policy that does not allow spectators to use cards from any other companies for Olympic transactions, drawing a lot of flack.
The London Organising Committee have been zealously guarding the trademarks associated with the Olympics. That's created something of a backlash as well. So you get brands like Visa that benefit from this safeguarding because everyone knows that Visa is an Olympic sponsor now. But at the same point, the way that everything at the Games has to be paid for by a Visa card or cash has created something of a backlash within it. Consumers out there on the street aren't really understanding the different levels of tier, which again one wouldn't expect them to. It's a level of complexity that consumers wouldn't necessarily get themselves involved with. It might become more apparent as the games themselves unfold and they can see what the actual sponsorship packages really contain.
It may be early days, and brands like McDonald's, Coca-Cola and Cadbury are getting their act right in terms of a strong brand strategy that is optimizing their association to the maximum. But marketers are struggling for visibility against not just fellow sponsors, but brands that are misattributed as being a part of the mammoth sporting extravaganza. The Olympic sponsorship race has just begun. And as brands go in all guns blazing, only time will stand testimony to the victorious.